Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. We are here live at Headset. I'm here with Liz, and we're going to go over 420 data as we approach 420, the biggest cannabis holiday out there. We're going to dive into these reports and see what kind of fun stuff we come up with. In your opinion, or maybe you can see the data as well, but I'm curious if this Black Friday equivalent on 420, is it the frugality that's driving additional choices or options, I'm wondering if it's price. Is it price, or is it because it's a holiday that they just decide to spend more money?
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? What's driving those decisions?
Yeah, so when we get down, I think, into a little bit more of the consumer psychology, again, here I'm inferring based on the data rather than, we don't actually survey consumers or anything, but I'm inferring. So when you think about the consumer psychology to go in and buy something and then to buy things when you're there, I think probably what most people are doing is they're going in to buy something, they're trying to get something interesting and new, and then once you're there, we have all these ancillary things that people can pick up, and so I think that is probably a little bit what it is. The when we see the lower prices driving sales, I think a lot of it's because they go in there to purchase, whatever they had in mind, and they see these prices and they're like, well, God, at that price, how could I say no?
So the conclusion with 2017's report is that 420 sales boost isn't going away anytime soon. So the market is seeing more new cannabis consumers who are probably less familiar with the day's connotations. It's already become well established with the Cannabis Industry Black Friday. It's interesting to note that there hasn't been a single 420 on a weekend yet. So savvy retailers can use 420 to capitalize on adventurous and occasionally lavish spirit, tailoring their promotions to promote new products and splurging a little. Either way, the sales boost from 420 is significant across the board, giving everyone involved plenty to celebrate. And so what will people buy on 420? There's predictions based on data from 3 years of the big day. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that right now.
No waiting. Right now. I'm diving right in. I'm ready for it, man.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this.
So you had mentioned Gen Z, but we're going to talk about millennials because Gen Z was the first time last year that you were able to get some data, but we've had a couple years with millennials.
Totally, yeah.
Who are typically frequent purchasers but not big spenders. They open their pocketbook a little bit wider on 420. Headsets looked at specific products which do well on 420, and it's heavily weighed towards single-serving items, as you might expect, although not always the size you'd think. So Headsets learned that the loyalty programs play a role in 420 sales, which should be useful information for anyone who works in retail. And most interestingly, Headsets looked at pricing and discounts for 420 and noticed that people still buy a lot of cannabis even if it's not deeply discounted. The data shows that consumers' participation in the holidays seems to be driven more by enthusiasm for cannabis and the legalization movement than bargain hunting, which speaks to the unique nature of cannabis consumer base.
Yeah.
So you were kind of mentioning you were really excited just to get out there and try it. Are you more influenced by that ability to just kind of try new things, or are you going to be driven more by discounts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be driven more by, to me it seems like a holiday, and my personal preference would be, I can buy cheap stuff any day of the year. I wouldn't want to forfeit, the ability to get like something cool and interesting that day to save a few dollars. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely people that see those, really cheaply priced ounces and just, take as much as the law allows.
This guy right here, be buying that $30 ounce tomorrow on Saturday.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of people that treat it that way and think, hell yeah, I'm going to fill up the pantry.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that too, because I guess there's a post 420 report that we're going to get to in just a couple minutes, and it kind of dives into that hangover effect, mm-hmm. which is legit.
Yeah, sales hangover, right?
And so, I mean, I've kind of been asking, is it money? Is it the experience? And loyalty programs seem to be paying off. So what might be especially interesting to retail readers is that customers who were participants in the loyalty program had a higher boost in average basket size of 26%, as opposed to 21% for non-loyalty customers. So there's a boost of, 5%? If you're on a loyalty program. And I noticed that Have a Heart, they had something like 200 orders online So if you're a loyalty customer and you're buying online, those discounts and loyalty programs just sort of snowball and really, to my surprise, offering loyalty programs with online purchase orders. They had 200 orders, and I was there at 10 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And the queue of 200 throughout their stores is a lot to kind of walk into. So obviously that does pay off to some degree. And I think the day by itself is just obviously a boost. So the days following 420 in both 2016 and 2017 actually saw a small decrease in sales compared to the same day in the previous week. And so we were talking about kind of that hangover effect on 420, with sales on 419 in both years slightly higher, but not enough to be truly considered as part of the holiday boost.
Yeah, and I think that could be something that's different this year, with 420 being on a Saturday. I think we probably will see Friday come up as well as Saturday. People maybe on their way home from work, people getting ready for the weekend. That way, especially if you're concerned about like lines or getting the products you want, if the price isn't what drives you, those deep discounts on 420, perhaps you'll stop by on Friday and pick up the stuff to avoid the lines. I don't know. This is the first year, so I'm so excited to analyze it afterwards.
Well, Friday is the number one day of the week.
It is, yeah. It actually varies slightly by state. I think in one of the rec states, Saturday is actually a little bit bigger, but generally what we see is it's Friday, yeah.
Awesome. We were talking about the comparison between beer and cannabis just as a celebratory component for the holiday. And so there's this comparison with cannabis and beer holidays, taking into consideration that Nielsen partnership, and basically seeing that beer on the July 4th has a 33% increase in sales compared to only 5% for cannabis during that same 4th of July weekend, whereas with 420 there's a 111% increase.
Yeah.
So it's obviously our own little holiday.
It is, yeah. I thought it was interesting to consider because there's still a lot of question about whether how alcoholic beverages how their sales are impacted by cannabis. So I thought it was interesting that while we see a slight bump around July 4th for cannabis, it's not even as high as beer. That's kind of more of beer's holiday. But the holiday isn't about beer for most people. There's probably some people it's just about beer, but most people, it's family gatherings, it's celebrating, the Independence Day. And so while you use beer to celebrate, it's not just a beer holiday. 420 is a little different from that, right? That's just a holiday about cannabis. And so I think it compares nicely, like holiday consumption from a holiday specifically for a thing.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So 420 clearly drives consumers to shop. In 2018, last year, sales grew by 111% on 420. But what about the different holiday and product pairing? In the U.S., Independence Day or 4th of July is a holiday stereotypically celebrated with parades and fireworks, barbecuing, beer, family that you mentioned. And so thanks to the new strategic alliance with Nielsen, Headset is able to report on the U.S. retail alcohol market for the first time. And so I guess we'll find out what those numbers look like. And so is 420 still the biggest day in cannabis? The day before Thanksgiving is a newest holiday, well positioned to capitalize on the shopping type for Thanksgiving weekend. So whether it's 4th of July or Black Friday or New Year's Eve, we're kind of switching our priorities maybe and just going from an alcohol consumption priority to cannabis. I think in every single legal state the number of alcohol sales has decreased. In your opinion, is that a result of them switching to cannabis?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I think research is kind of mixed on how that overall impacts sales, but I think it's something that people are definitely concerned about. And I think a lot of people can at least think of personal examples that they know of where people have substituted those things. Mm-hmm. I think we do definitely see cannabis sales increase around, New Year's Eve, July 4th, Memorial Day weekend. It's not quite the bumps that you see in alcohol, so it doesn't seem to be as big of a trend. Maybe that won't always be the case. Maybe we'll see that grow each year. But definitely these cannabis-specific holidays, right? I don't think there's anybody that's going to celebrate 420 by going out and buying a six-pack of beer or White Claw or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's how some people celebrate, but I think probably far and away the people that are celebrating 420 are going to do it with cannabis. Mm-hmm.
So last year, pre-rolls had the highest average discount, 21% of all categories by a considerable margin. So that's probably why.
Yeah. You know, it's a great thing to discount too. And if a lot of people are coming in, especially if you feel like trying things, pre-rolls are pretty cheap. So if you do have good discounts on pre-rolls, maybe you can have some that are discounted, some are not, and try to get both in a basket. Yeah.
So it's a day to buy in bulk. The largest flower package size saw the biggest increase in both total sales and total unit sales. What I found interesting is that half ounces were the second largest standard size and had a massive 381% increase in units and had a 292% increase in total sales. Is that a strategy around pricing that better than ounces? So if you buy 2 half ounces, that's going to be cheaper than 1 ounce. I noticed that last year.
Yeah.
Seems like a weird strategy.
Yeah, it could be. I think though, when you think about the opportunity of a day where you're getting maybe new customers in or infrequent customers in, if you can get people to try 2 things and like 2 things, now they buy 2 things. And so I think, I'm not certain, I don't know exactly what the retailers are doing, but if I were to infer what they were doing, perhaps it's trying to get more people to try more things so that we can have more products in their basket in the future.
Yeah, get an indica and sativa instead of just one.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to try something new. You know, if you're already in that trying new things mindset, it's a good time to push people into products that you know that they'll like that maybe they just haven't found yet.
So pricing is interesting. Washington was still the state to beat in terms of the lowest average item price at $15.21. Nevada, as Headset reported in the past, had the highest average item price at $38.56. California's average item price was second highest at $27 and change, and then Colorado with the second highest average discount of 16%. So it's kind of all over the board.
Yeah, it really is. Some of those price trends are similar. Usually California is the highest, so it seemed like maybe Nevada there was even more celebration, even more expensive products purchased. But also what you see in Nevada is that really high discount. So it could be that those discounts are driving people to really think about some of those higher priced products.
Yeah, we saw last year 115% sales increase and only 16% discounted. So it's not, I mean, they're basically eliminating tax. We have 10% tax in Washington on the retail side, like regular non-cannabis. And so if this was a regular commodity, you could essentially say that they're eliminating the tax in exchange for 115% increase in sales. That's pretty good.
That's a good deal. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, that's a good deal.
That's pretty good. So it's the freaking weekend. Friday is far and away the most popular day of the week to purchase cannabis, with 18.8% of total sales last year. In 2019, 420 will fall on a Saturday for the first time since legalization. So due to this data, along with previous slides, Headset expects sales on 420 2019 to be 2 to 2.2x above normal, with Friday to be slightly significant above average as well. So for just general days of the week in 2018 last year, we saw Friday took almost 20% of sales. And then Saturday was behind that at 16%. So we'll just increase that by like 100% this year.
Yeah. I think what we're going to see is, if you look at the week of 420, the Saturday is really going to be the dominant player. But I do really think that we'll see some sales increases on that Friday before as well.
Random question, do you know if stores are ramping up their inventory, or are they just going to plan on selling out?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure about that. That's not something we've looked at, but definitely maybe that's a follow-up we could do, because that is something that we report on, and that's a really big benefit of being a Headset client is you do get to understand your inventory a little bit better. What we do know is that stockouts are very detrimental to business. If you don't have things to sell, you can't make money. And so at the same time, you don't want to have this massive inventory carry, so kind of finding that inventory sweet spot is really difficult. What I would hope is that the people that use Headset maybe find that sweet spot a little bit easier than people that aren't using as much data to make those decisions.
So no matter how you participate in the cannabis industry, you should pay attention to 420. It's consistently the single biggest day in cannabis each year, with at least double the sales of average day. So this year will fall on a Saturday for the first time. And since Fridays are typically the biggest days for sales, retailers should be ready to encourage revelry on 420 Eve as well as the holiday itself. Retailers and brands should focus on capturing the market, the wallets, and the youngest generation, those in Generation Z. So we see beverage and edible producers, 420 is your day to shine. Cannabis consumers will add 30 to 60% more products to their basket on 420, and more often than not, they're trying something new, and it's an infused treat. So consumers on 420 is the day to stock up, and bulk buys are the best strategy. For flower, the sweet spot will be shy of the largest package size. So consider grabbing 2 half ounces. It may be a better deal than 1 full ounce, plus that you can try 2 different strains. And then now we're going to jump into the post 420 update, the hangover effect.
Yeah, that was from last year. After 420, we looked to see kind of what happened. It's common to see a sales hangover around big days like that. So Black Friday, for instance, there's usually a sales hangover on Saturdays, where retail trends, really dip because most people that shop that day. And then now there's a lot of retailers that have started strategies to get more people in the door on Saturdays. But we were wondering, is this trend that we see for Black Friday a similar trend we see in cannabis? Just as we're trying to decide how this industry is and isn't like traditional retail.
I want to thank my guest, Liz Connor, Director of Analytics at Headset. Liz, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge, your cannabis business podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.
Bye.